Greetings and welcome back. It's another episode of The Angry Chicken with me, Garrett Weinzerl, Willie Dills Gregory, and Jocelyn Moffat. Welcome back, guys.
Yo.
Hello.
Oh, what a totally gonna stick to just Brawl today episode we have for you folks.
Brawl only.
Brawl.
Talking
Yep.
Yeah, we're
Nothing else.
definitely not gonna talk about anything else. No, that's a lie. If you're tuning into this and you're like, when are they gonna talk about the Warsong nerf? Very soon. We promise. But we're going to start this episode like we do every Thursday episode. And we're going to talk a little bit about this week's Brawl, which was Randomonium. Basically, we pick a class. We get random cards based on the class we pick. And each turn, our cards' costs are randomized as well.
Yep.
Oh, man. Jocelyn, you know your reaction to the Brawl last week?
Yep.
Yeah, that's my reaction to this Brawl this week. Not
Yeah.
Actually, to sum it up, my kind of consensus on the Sprawl is it's pretty fun against friends. I had a terrible time trying to get my card pack this week.
This Brawl confused the crap out of me. I was like, the first time I went in, I thought that like it was randomized. First of all, I thought it was randomized once. I didn't read it closely enough. And then I thought it was randomized that it could go more or less, but it seems to only be like normal cost or less. It never costs more.
I've
So I was like, yeah. So I was like, I did my first turn. I'm like, okay, so the next turn I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden, all my mana costs changed. And I was like, what?
Yeah, they're literally random every single turn. So
all the time.
whatever X card cost the previous turn, it won't necessarily cost the next turn, but it could cost the same. I mean, it was entirely random, which, as I said,
Fits the name.
Yeah,
name.
when you're playing against your friends and you can talk to each other and kind of talk smack, it's a pretty damn fun Brawl. But out the gate, I just had the worst luck in the world, and that's really all this Brawl comes down to is being lucky.
Pretty much. Well, choosing the classes that have a lot of expensive crap is also good too.
Yeah.
Right.
So Druid, Priest, and Mage all seemed pretty good. Everybody else was just kind of whatever.
Yeah,
This was like the PewDiePie and Boxy of Brawls. It was just like, I get it. Some people like this.
Yeah. You get it, but it's not for you.
Yeah.
Was your
like,
point?
all right, yeah. I watched it for a little second, and then I was like, all right, I can move on now.
Yeah, it's totally the opposite of what Brawl was last week. Like last week was like, here is your perfect exact, this thing is going to happen every single time. And then this one was just like, nope. And I liked this one a little bit. I'm not in love with it, but I liked it okay.
I mean, it is
No,
funny.
it's fun. It's fun with your friends, I think. And I'll have fun playing D-Day, but I got my card pack. I'm out.
I couldn't be done with this Brawl fast enough.
I have had Shaman, the quest for, I guess, the whatever it is to get the 5 wins, domination, I guess. I've had the Shaman domination quest for 2 or 3 days now. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get it in Brawl. It took forever. It was so bad playing Shaman in this Brawl.
Shaman domination too. You had to win 7 games or whatever, or 5
Yeah.
games.
It was 5 games.
Yeah, that was not the best decision there, Jocelyn.
Yeah,
Because you
what
still
you gotta do when you
still
get
get
Shaman
overloaded.
Domination is click the little X
click
in
the
the
X,
right hand corner. Yeah, make that
Yeah.
go away.
That's exactly
just
what I've
like,
been doing.
But I did play a lot of this Brawl because I want to play Shaman on ladder. But man.
Yeah, no, I'm
Hashtag not worth.
you make a good point. I didn't think about it compared to last week's Brawl, and it is the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite
polar
of last week's
opposite.
Brawl. Last week's Brawl, you get to have the perfect whatever curve you ever could dream of, and this week's was just good luck, bro. Hope it works out. So.
It's like someone had a handful of mana crystals and just like randomly like threw them at the cards to see what stuck.
And then
So the strategy of this one, right, is to just play the biggest discount you can get, right? Like that's basically what I ended up discovering was, well, if something gets really cheap, I better play it now before it's not that
before
cheap
it
again.
changes. Yeah,
for the
Whether
most-
it's the right play or not. Like, look, I can play it for 1 mana, I'm doing it. Like, it doesn't matter if it's good or not.
I found keeping well, there's kind of like 2 different ways to look at the mulligan. Either you keep all of the low-cost cards because they have the least variation and you have the best chance of potentially having a really good start, or you keep all the super big cards, because if they randomly get changed to like 0, 1, or 2, and you've got like a 7, 7 on turn 2, then you're probably going to be okay.
Yep.
So there's like two different ways of looking at it. I found it was more consistent, and consistency in this brawl was pretty good, by keeping the lower cost cards and trying to get that good start right off the bat. But then, I mean, I'd go up against somebody who would get that stupid luck, and then I was just like, yeah.
I would always take the big cards, because if someone slams a Tyrion on turn 2, what am I supposed to do when I kept my jugglers and leprognomes, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I just mulliganed away everything low, got big stuff, and then was like, cool, I'll play that on turn 2 when it costs that much. You know, it's like... but I also had, so I don't know if you guys had this, I had 2 of the same legendary in a deck. So this was like actually totally random. Like you could have multiple legendaries and all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, I got the shaman one that gave me Murlocs, Mist Caller.
Neptulon.
Oh no, Neptulon, right? Because I got the other the mist one as well that buffs all your minions. But yeah, so I got Neptulon. And I got to play that on like turn 2, and I was like, sweet card draw.
I was never.
So yeah, stuff like that was awesome. But then it was just like it felt so bad when it happened to you. Like when your opponent got it, it was just like, oh man, because there was not, at least for me, I did not have the luck of either having removal in my deck or pulling removal. So it was just kind of like, welp, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, basically everybody conceded as soon as they fell behind too in this brawl. Like on my EU account, it took less than 3 turns to get my back, and I was like, cool, because I didn't want to play out this game.
Yeah, I had some rough luck too. I had 2 druids in a row that got Savage Combatant out in the first or second turn, and both those games I got rather small minions in my opening hand, so it was just nuts. Like the druid's hero power just became insane from the get go.
Yeah.
How would you guys have felt about this brawl if you could build the deck?
Oh, I think that'd be really cool.
I think it would have been more interesting to me. Like if I could build the deck where the cost would end up being randomized, I could just
always
throw out
random
curve.
Lower, not random higher too, right?
Well,
Yeah.
So, you could throw out curve and just build like a deck with just nothing but synergy and cool stuff, and just who cares about the curve, because it doesn't matter, right? Like I'll draw whatever as long as all the cards kind of work together. And then sometimes I'll randomly get to play them early. That would be kind of fun.
They should do that. They should recycle this and literally just use the same graphics, the same title, same everything, and just have like a cross out or like they added some words to it. Just constructed Randomonium. I would be so into that.
I think I would like that a lot.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, this brawl is over as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I definitely of the ones we've covered so far, my least favorite. But still not bad. Still not web spinner levels of I'm over this. Because at least
I liked it better than when it was just random without this, though. Because we did have that brawl, remember?
Right.
Like just random decks.
Random decks, yeah.
Yeah. I thought at least this was like, oh, okay, well.
I liked that though because it was
else.
clearly a nod to our show.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, like to me, like that brawl was like, well, I can already do this. So, and this was like at least like, oh, well, I can't do this. This is something different.
Yeah, I do like when they take whatever the rules are and just throw them out the window and give us something we can't experience in any other way, in any other mode. So I do like that part about this. But yeah, this brawl was just meh.
So what would what rating would you guys give it?
Damn. I hate having to come up with something funny every week. I totally forgot about this.
It's just random, Jocelyn. You just got to be so random here.
Oh, where's the coin? I've got a coin.
Yeah, I give this a coin.
All right, it's tails. I give it a 1 out of a 2 possibility.
1 out of 2 possibilities.
I give it 50-50. It could be fun. It could be not fun.
Mm-hmm. I give it 1 free card pack in 5 minutes.
It took me 1 free card back in 6 tries. But,
oh man, that's brutal.
Yeah,
dude.
I was not having a good time. I was not having a good time at all. Anyways, let's get into the news we didn't think we'd be discussing on this week's show.
Good news, everyone!
The Warsong Commander nerf. If for whatever reason you live under a proverbial Hearthstone rock, there's a change coming to the Warsong Commander. It will now read, your charge minions have +1 attack. No change.
I like to think there is somebody out there who doesn't like read Reddit or anything.
Go
It
on
doesn't know,
Twitter,
and
doesn't
just
seem to-
plays nothing but Patron. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, in a few weeks, is gonna like have the combo and be like, "Wait, what?" Like, it's not
If you
gonna work.
didn't add that with N plays patron, I would have said that person's probably a way happier person. They probably live such a more positive Hearthstone life than we do.
And it's
Well,
not going to
maybe
be a
they
couple
do, because
weeks.
they-
It's coming like
it's coming
Tuesday.
next week. Yeah, like
Yeah.
probably Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So yeah, stats aren't changing. It's still a 2-3.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. So this is funny because I don't know. All right, you're in Canada, Jocelyn. So maybe you're exempt from this. But we're moving into election season here in the States.
Oh no, we're having elections
Okay.
in 4 days actually.
And I'm pretty sure people are more divided on this change to Warsong Commander than they are of most of the serious political topics in our country right now.
I can't believe how many people there are on either side of this. Like, it is pretty much like straight down the middle. Even I went through Twitter looking for the reactions of all the players that actually qualify for BlizzCon, and it's like either no comment and then everyone, it's like split right down the middle. Like, yay, boo. And I'm like, oh my God, like you are literally the 16 best players. Well, I found North American EU, so the 8 best players in the game right now, and you're like right down the middle. Crazy.
And it's not even like it's a nice clean cut down the middle that some are pro Nerf, some are anti Nerf.
Yeah.
Some are pro Nerf, but think that it should have come after the tournament. Some are pro Nerf and are happy that it came before the tournament. Some are anti Nerf, and plus everything I just said.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Kind of seeing this. It's been really interesting reading all of the suggestions, all of the people with the differing opinions coming in and talking about the 1,000,001 different ways that this could have been handled. And
But then it was really interesting too to see Ben's response to all of that.
Well, he made a really good point that I think some people might have just not even considered is this is a future problem that they had, you know. So someone like Gadgets and Auctioneer, it's like we can't introduce low cost spells into the game if we have a card like this that's just totally broken with low cost spells. So we got to change that before we can do this other stuff. So
That
this
is what
had
a
to
lot of people are
change.
missing.
Yeah, like Warsong Commander had to change. Like it was gonna make it so that they could never introduce 3 or lower attack minions that did cool stuff, because then they could get abused by Warrior, right? So that sucks. And the problem though is that the way they nerfed it is just so bizarre. Like and nobody saw this coming, right? Like nobody saw this particular change,
Yeah.
and then like no change to the stats. Like what they did is they turned it into a worse raid leader, right? Like, why would you ever play this over raid leader in your warrior deck? Even if you wanted to make like a crazy charge warrior, you'd still be better off playing regular raid leader, because if some minions on the board didn't have charge, you'd at least get to buff those too. But now it's like, no, only the minions with charge get the buff. Sure, you get 1 more health, but nobody cares about 1 more health. Like,
But now you could have 2 Warsong Commanders and 2 raid leaders, Dills.
oh my. How many ticks of Emperor Thorson did that take to happen? Yeah. Yeah. They should have buffed its stats if they were going to do this. I mean, they really should have. A 3/3, or make it 2 mana 2/3, and then it's another 2-drop for warriors would be pretty cool. Because arena, 2 drops are good. So a 2 mana 2/3 is just fine, and then it does something not that great. But maybe you play this on turn 2, you coin this out on turn 1, and then on turn 2 you get a 3-attack little Murloc dude, and you can kill their 2-drop, and that's good. And then you did something. But this chiz is, I don't know.
Well, and I mean, Ben Brode said in his developer insight video, like, this is a bad card now. They realize they made it a bad card. Like,
they know.
He completely knows, but at the same time, it is a basic card. It's not even a common card from expert packs. Like, it's a basic card. So I did like his point about saying that, it should fall in line with it. Like, it should be simple. It should be easy to understand. It shouldn't be a super crazy awesome card. So I understand their, I guess, reasoning behind the nerf. I also like that they said that they tried 30 to 40 different designs for the way that they might do a new Warsong Commander. Like, it's not like they just kind of threw this in there as the first thing they thought of. They had a whole bunch of different designs. They tested the crap out of it. Kind of goes to show a little bit of why nerfs take so long, because it's not just like, oh, the community agrees on this, so we're just going to test that. Oh, yeah, it works. Okay, go do it. It's
But
like,
I
no,
can't
they.
believe that they did 40 different things and then landed on this. Like, I can't. That makes no sense to me.
I'm right there with you too, Dills. And like, I kind of wish I don't know. Obviously, there's a point where there's too much transparency and not enough, and I definitely think at the moment we're at not enough. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure showing us all 40 revisions. I'm not sure we need like a C-SPAN style
not.
live stream from the development boardroom at the Team 5 office. I don't think we need that either. But I'd like to see what some of these other designs were. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people going around. There's been a lot of really negative backlash on this change, especially from the arena community. But I think some of the things that, especially in regards to esports, the thing I'm not seeing brought up is like, and it's one of those things that I think would help a lot, but I'm not sure we'll ever see it. But the thing I'm surprised I'm not seeing more people talk about is any form of testing before cards are released. Like we get like public testing where the pros or us
like a
as
beta.
players,
Yeah, we need a
all of their
PCR.
other games have this. Every single other Blizzard
is
game
weird.
has this.
Yeah.
Hearthstone doesn't. Hearthstone is now one of the biggest esports out there. There are players that make their living, that their livelihood depends on this game and the stability of this game. And while I disagree with some of their more negative some of the more negative feedback coming from these players, I also understand why they're so pissed off. So, like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna say, like, I agree with most of the points in Bird's video, but if he's gonna come out and say stuff like, oh well we messed up and we should have reined this in a while back, or whatever his comments were, allow the players to preview this stuff before it actually comes out, before it's a product that we can spend money on, so that hopefully this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that that player testing is such an important mechanism for balancing, and they just don't have that with Hearthstone right now. Like, it's just whatever they're doing internally, and the players aren't able to give them the information that I'm sure they're going to get after this actually goes live. That Warrior's going to be even worse in Arena. Patron is literally just gone, like nuked from the face of the earth. And I don't know. That just seems like it seems heavy-handed to me. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like
I
there's
think,
other
again,
things that could have been done.
Yeah, I think again it comes down to we don't know what Blizzard's future plans are for expansions, for adventures, all that kind of stuff. So they're aware of what's going on with Warrior in Arena, because Ben Bro did mention it, and he said, like, yeah, nerfing cards sucks. Warrior sucks in Arena right now. Like, he's admitting all of these things that the community is complaining about. He's reading all of the feedback, and we don't know what they're going to do. We know we're going to probably get an adventure announcement coming up at BlizzCon in a couple of weeks. So I think before everyone kind of goes, oh my God, Warriors are terrible in Arena and Blizz is the worst and boo Team 5, we should really wait and see what's coming in a very, very short time and see where they're going with the change to Warsong Commander, because there's just so much that we don't know about future plans. So I think we should maybe just scale it back a little bit. My big problem with the nerf, I don't like nerfs anyway, but my big problem is right before BlizzCon. Like, it just seems so crazy to me. Like, Garrett, you mentioned, like, Hearthstone is a huge esport now. There's a lot of people making a lot of money off of this. Why do you change the rules right before literally the World Championship? It seems just insane. Like, it's a digital card game. You have the ability to wait a few weeks. Just wait till after BlizzCon, then change the rules, because this is a huge change. And especially right after we had, like, all of the qualifiers going in and everyone playing Patron.
Well, it's particularly funny after the North American qualifiers, because there were only two players that brought Patron Warrior decks, and they were the two that qualified for BlizzCon.
They were the two that made the top two,
if you lost to Patron in the qualifiers, like, I would be so upset if I made it to top 8 and then I lost because of Patron Warrior, and then, like, literally 2 days later, they're like, oh, and for BlizzCon, no more patrons, yay! I'd be like...
Yeah. It's weird.
What? Like, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'd be so mad.
Yeah, I made the analogy that, like, right before the World Series, the MLB was like, all right, no more curveballs. Like, we're getting rid of curveballs. We didn't like how curveballs interacted with the gameplay, and It just created this weird meta where bats weren't hitting balls enough, and so get rid of the curveball.
That is
Only throw your balls straight from here on out.
And I'd
Yeah,
also
it's
like
just
to
bizarre.
thank you for using an analogy that's so much more appropriate than some of the analogies I've seen thrown around this week in other people's videos.
There's been some harsh words thrown around that probably aren't necessary, but you know, the frustration is really like the thing that I took away from a lot of the stuff. And the players it's their right to feel frustrated. Ben Brode and Team 5, I'm sure, are doing their best job to make the game, you know, as good as it can be, and I believe that. But it is frustrating, like, to be told, well, don't worry, Arena, we'll get to you soon. Like,
Yeah.
that is, like, because I play a lot of Arena, so I'm like, well, so what? Like, should I just not play Arena for a while? Like, I want to play Arena, and I just have this one class that is just unclickable. And that's fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like, there's other problems that I have in life that are bigger than the fact that I can't play a warrior in Arena. But it is a little frustrating. That's all.
Yeah.
No,
No, I totally see the frustration. Absolutely.
I'm right there with you. And back to the making this change right before BlizzCon. Selfishly, I'm personally super stoked because I don't want to see another damn Patron game. I'm done. I don't give a shit. I'm so done watching Patron games. But
And I'm completely on board with you there, Garrett. Like, I think that in terms of like spectating, this is awesome. Like, we don't have to watch Patron. We don't have to watch Patron on Patron, Patron on Freeze Mage, Patron on Druid. Like, no more Patron, yay. But at the same time, like, it just, from the competitive gamer esports side of me, I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, we're trying to be taken seriously, and you're just like, well, table flip right before BlizzCon.
right, it does. It seems it kind of opens up. I feel like a bigger dialogue that needs to be had about Hearthstone esports as a whole. This entire year, the weird stuff that has gone on. Everyone's. It seems like most of us are on the same page now that Conquest it's had its time, and it's time to find a better format.
It's better than it was before, not the best.
Yeah, it's time to not, have pros that are invited to tournaments that are dishing out obscene amounts of WC points, for them not to have an incredibly easier journey than any up-and-coming players who maybe didn't get the invite and had to fight their way through an ungodly large open bracket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's and those are just two of the biggest glaring things right now that a lot of people have been discussing all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes that need to be made, I think. But you make a good point that for the spectators, it's going to be nice to not watch a bunch of Patron matches at the biggest tournament of the year. I think it was Jab who maybe said this, that he was excited about the fact that everything's going to be fresh and new, and so the player with the ability to innovate the best is actually going to now have a distinct advantage. I guess the issue with that, though, is like, should the player with the ability to innovate be the guy who wins like this year, like, or should it be the guy who plays the best with the best deck? I don't know. Like, it's
tough.
changing the criteria of what your world champion is going to be now, and that's a little bit awkward. So
It is strange. I will agree with that. As stoked as I am to actually go watch the finals now, knowing Patron will be gone, the timing is so bizarre, and it doesn't really seem to. It doesn't really seem to respect the esport that is Hearthstone.
Yeah.
I think I would be more on board with it if they'd made the decision to put a huge game and meta changing nerf in place. I would have been more on board if it had happened a month or two before BlizzCon, because then you're changing the rules, you're doing it before BlizzCon, that kind of sucks. But if you did it before all of the big qualifiers started, so you've got all your top players, they've all played through all their tournaments and their ladder seasons and everything else. You've got this big, huge group of players that are competing to go to BlizzCon. As soon as you start that road to BlizzCon, you put the nerf in place, and then Patron is out from the get-go instead of getting to your top, what are we at, 16?
Yeah, 16
and then
players,
saying, so you're your top 16 now, and they have to play an entirely different game than they did a week ago.
So last year they actually did nerf. They nerfed Buzzard. In September or something like that, right? So that was a good month and a half or something before BlizzCon. It didn't. Also, Buzzard didn't kill Hunter at all. Like, this is going to kill this deck archetype.
Not at all. And do you remember too, BlizzCon last year? Like, were we still talking about the Buzzard nerf come the BlizzCon finals? No, we were not.
No
but
one cared, and people were still playing Hunter.
But we are much closer now, and this does effectively kill an archetype. Now, there's still going to be Warrior. We saw plenty of Control Warrior in the North American qualifiers.
Yes.
But
You'll still see Control Warrior. The thing is, though, I think a lot of people. I think we're going to see a lot of other shakeups. So this is going to, like, Paladin will now be back. I think we're going to see not even just the Secrets Paladin, but just like the mid-range Paladin is very possible now because it got kind of eaten up by Patron. I think you're going to see like some Freeze Mage again instead of just Tempo Mage because people just played Tempo Mage because that was the only way. You had to like pressure Patron and kill it before it like lined up its big combo. And Freeze Mage sucks against Control Warrior, but I don't think you're going to see as much Warrior. And Freeze Mage also is a weird matchup against Patron because Patron can sit back and armor up and do kind of what Control Warrior does. So I think you're going to see that. It's going to be interesting. You're going to see a lot of decks you just didn't see. So that's great. So silver lining. Decks we didn't get to see. Yay. Murloc Knights and stuff. Cool.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Love Murloc Knight. Yeah, so, and we really haven't touched, I guess, too much on the whole arena aspect of this, but I don't know how much there is more to say about it that hasn't already been said other than I think a lot of us feel like, well, this all just isn't good enough in terms of arena.
It's not, yeah. For arena, it's pretty bad because these are, like, the common cards are what matter, right? And this is a common card, and it's a class card. So they get picked, like, they get presented to you more often than neutral commons. So you're going to get a lot of Warsong Commanders now, so these are just going to be, like, dead picks. Like, cannot pick this card. And it wasn't a great card to pick in Arena before, but at least sometimes it gave you some interesting plays. But now it's just straight up dead. And like I said, if they made it a 2/3 and it had the same ability, it would still be terrible and constructed, but at least in Arena, or sorry, 2/3 for 2, it would still be terrible and constructed, but at least in Arena it's another 2-drop, and that's fine. Then we could live with that, like, oh, cool, it's another 2-drop. That actually buffs Warriors in Arena. But, yeah, this is just a straight up, like, you were already the worst, and now you're definitely even farther down on the totem pole. And people who play nothing but Arena are pissed. Some people are being a little bit overbearing about how pissed they are, but that's fine. You know, it's whatever. But yeah, it's a bad change for Arena for sure.
Indeed. Any closing thoughts, guys?
I wanted it. I wanted the change, but not like this.
I think, yeah, you just totally nailed it.
That is kind of what this feels like, right? Like it finally happens. Like, this is all the Reddit has been talking about. The only thing on the forums. This has been it for months on end. And finally, Patron has been given the axe. And now the only thing on Reddit and the forum is, nah, too bad. This is terrible. What are you doing? And in a way that does kind of seem like, but actually, if you dig deep, there really is some, I don't know, some good conversation being had about how maybe this could have been handled in a much better way.
Yeah. And
I'm
sure like how they're paying attention, right? So
I like how one change from Blizzard is creating all of these different little conversations about really big topics in Hearthstone. It's like Blizzard did one thing and it was like this avalanche of like talking about nerfing cards, talking about building decks, talking about Hearthstone as an esport itself. Like it seems like everything has really just gained momentum and there's a lot of people talking about a lot of things right now. It's really interesting to see. So I am glad that happened from that kind of side of it. I'm really glad that it happened as a spectator at BlizzCon. But yeah, not like this.
I'm personally fine with it, except for the fact that except for the arena stuff. But I'm sitting here. I never really was expecting anything to happen in arena until another content update, be it an adventure, be it an expansion. But I guess I also wasn't thinking like, oh, you made it work. But it's like, while this, like. You just made this card worse for Arena. Like, Warrior's already just terrible. They're so bad in Arena that making one card way worse than it used to be, I don't think has the astounding effect that some Arena players are making it sound like. Like, it's already just straight up terrible, which is already a problem. Yeah. But I don't think this is like the worst thing that ever happened to Warriors in Arena. I think Warriors as they stand is the worst thing that happened to Warriors in Arena.
Well, I mean, it's like you just kicked them while they're down is really like, I guess, what they, Arena people feel like. And I play a lot of Arena. I get it. And it's like, we weren't going to save Warriors by changing this in some other way. Definitely not. So if we're talking about like saving Warriors in Arena, there's something else that has to happen. And that can't happen with this one card. It's going to happen with several cards that get introduced. So, we would have had to wait several months for that anyway.
Yeah. So we're pretty much at time now. So I think we're gonna have to wrap this up here, unless anyone has anything else that's just probably gonna blow our minds to say.
Well, I will tell people that on my stream tonight, I will be doing a co-op with Adwakta and Merp, so I'll be able to talk to them about it more, and maybe I can calm those boys down a little bit, talk some sense into them. But also, yeah, we're gonna do a co-op. They're gonna help me through a draft and some games, and then they'll host my stream. So people want to watch that, check it out. Also, green screen hype. We have a green screen now.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah. So I'm floating on top of stuff. It's crazy.
Nice.
I've always wanted to pick one of those up. You'll have to let me know how
Yeah,
it goes.
it's really easy, actually. I was like, oh, this is going to be so complicated. Oh, I click that button and it works. Oh, cool.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we're going to have Adwakta on next week. That'll be interesting. I don't really agree with anything in his video. Well, actually, I agree with a lot of his points.
I think we agree with his...
I agree with his points. I completely
logic,
disagree with his hyperbole.
His hyperbole was a little over the top. I'll agree with that.
But comparing Ben Bro to a wife beater was over the line.
But you know, he's just making metaphors to try to explain like how
Yeah,
terrible.
but you made a metaphor today, Dills.
It is over the.
You made a metaphor that was about sports and a curveball. He made a metaphor about cheating on your wife and beating your wife.
Yeah.
Calm the
I still
frick
haven't
down.
watched it, so.
Well, okay, you'll have to watch it and tell us
I'll have to
if
watch
it
it
offends your sensibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, just
I mean, to me,
chill.
I was like, all right, dude, that's a little much, but I wasn't like personally taken aback by it. But.
Oh man, yeah, I almost spit out my my breakfast bar. I'm like, did he just say that?
What?
So that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to talking to him. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this week's or this Thursday's episode. I really need to get in the habit of doing more than one episode a week. Thanks to our patrons, the whole reason we're doing a second episode a week. Thank you guys so much over at patreon.com/TAC. This episode, thank you Kelvin, Billy T, Eamon M, Ross M, and Shane W. We really appreciate your support. Drop us iTunes reviews if you're an iTunes listener. Check us out on amove.tv, on frogpants.com. Big thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H, LVE, Topher L, Barry Scott L, and Christian M. All of our past live shows and other videos can be found on youtube.com/amovetv. Get our t-shirt on slashloot.com. Follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. We record live the Prime show this upcoming Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/amovetv. And check out BrianGriffithMusic.com. He made our intro music. Dills, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Willie Dills, and my Twitch stream is twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. Again, I'll be on tonight and sometime this weekend and all sorts of times after that, because I actually am now going to be starting a new schedule in November. So I will be working from home, and sometimes I'll be in Antioch, but you'll see more streams.
I need to get in on this thing that you two are doing, which is, not really, getting the stream more.
You should, man. You should. By the way, Kyle Ferguson's got his own channel now. We should go follow that too.
Yeah.
I clicked follow on that. It was sweet. I was like, oh, look at this. It's Kyle Ferguson's channel. So excited for that too.
Yeah.
Everyone's branching out. It's great.
Jocelyn, how about you?
Best place to follow me is over on Twitter at JossPlays. It's the same as my Twitch channel, and I've been streaming quite a lot, having a lot of fun. We have Gamers In game night tonight. It's just me because Ryan's traveling, so if you guys want to hop in and play some, I don't know what we're playing tonight. Might be like Dungeon Defenders 2 or something, but yeah, if you guys want to jump in, then that is at 8 p.m. Eastern. Stupid freaking time zones, can't wait to move. But yeah, everything that I do is on amove.tv.
Awesome. Kyle's Twitch, by the way, I had to look it up. It's just twitch.tv/Kyle Ferguson. He's got two S's in Ferguson, everyone.
He's very branded. It's KyleFerguson.com, twitch.tv/Kyle Ferguson.
His YouTube, once he can get a domain, I'm sure will be Kyle Ferguson. Anyway, folks, follow me on Twitter at GarrettArt. I'm on nomanart.com. I'm on Into the Nexus in a couple hours talking Heroes of the Storm. And I'm on The Angry Nerd talking to myself at amove.tv/angrynerd. Check out our sponsors, doghousesystems.com, where our code is TAC, and it'll get you a free solid-state drive added on to your gaming rig. And tune in Monday, because I believe, if everything checks out, we're going to have a new sponsor, and I'm really freaking excited about it. So,
yay!
Good stuff coming for the Angry Chicken. Now we will see you this Monday for episode 112 of the Angry Chicken. Have a good one. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yay!